Hi everybody, this is Christy. I am the Intimate Warrior. I thank you so much for stopping by, and as always, I send you love. I just wanted to make this quick video today that works with what I am actually going through. Of course, I add my experiences here and the lessons learned, hopefully, within my videos at all times. I try to really emphasize through my videos that it takes work. It takes understanding. Now, I know for you guys who come to my channel and try to listen and absorb information, I think many of you who discover me because you are going through something within, whether it's one video or multiple videos, where it helps you to connect the pieces or connect the dots within your own reality or through your own experiences and makes sense. And so I told you guys earlier on in my process that I used to read a lot. And I know you all have gone through that phase or still going through those phases. And there's nothing wrong with that. When we try to learn something greater than what we've ever known, especially different than what we've ever known, and greater, therefore greater, it creates a spark. But the number one thing that you have to really understand is that action is always required. It doesn't matter what you're reading, and I like to use the Bible a lot because there are a lot of individuals who talk about how much they know the Bible. They can recite it. They know it by heart. Being able to remember Scripture in the Bible and living a life according to the Bible are two different things. You can read all you want, whether it's about consciousness, about the Bible, or about laws of attraction, or anything that you want to, positive mindset, organization, it doesn't matter, or physical health, whatever it is you find great interest in, you can read all about it. But without implementing life experiences to what you're reading, you can't really understand what it's all about. And you never, especially when we're talking about our ascension cycle here, you can get books about the ascension cycle. You can read all about the 7 levels of initiations. You can read and try to understand the tree of life and everything like that. And you can remember everything. But that doesn't mean you're going through it just because you are learning it. It doesn't mean you're going through it just because you're learning it. So I want to, and before I continue about my experience here recently, I want to really emphasize that in the beginning, when I was absorbing all of, all that information through books and whatever, websites and people on YouTube, I was taking it in. I'm like, okay, this really makes sense to me. And I want to share this information with people. So yes, I did so because this information really began to make sense, more sense to me than what we have been taught throughout all existence, really, or through tradition or whatever it is, through teachings. But I quickly began to realize that, again, if I'm speaking about something to somebody who has no understanding whatsoever about it, or is in resistance, of course, to it, then I'm pressing a belief, which works against somebody. Therefore, that individual may never learn or expand on their own. The mind is always going to shut down something when they feel threatened. Like religion used to be for me in my past, or talking about God and Jesus in my past. If you were to ever come to me in my past when I was full of negativity, full of pain, and lacked in hope and true faith, I would have pushed you away. My heart would have hardened towards you because I felt that you were trying to press something on me. So that was, I stopped doing it. And it doesn't mean I don't have conversations from time to time about it with those who are receptive of it, or sometimes you get into a situation that does make you open up a little bit, but then you're also, again, you turn around, you're like, well, that person really wasn't ready to hear what I just spoke about. And so anyway, I'm back at that moment here again today, or I have been here for this past week or so, and it's because of what our family is going through here again, or still. For those of you who do not know, through the passing of my mother-in-law, my father-in-law was actually in the hospital through her passing, was not here at the time of her passing, which is something, that's very, it's sad from my perspective, but I also had the mindset that it was meant for a reason. His absence here was necessary, whatever reason it is for his life, it is so. And so he finally has come home. He's been home for maybe 2 weeks now, and yeah, just about 2 weeks. And so, I have been a caregiver, or I have cared for a lot of people, whether it was me, growing up and being a babysitter, which I began at the age of 9, or, taking care of my mother-in-law or my son, of course, who had lots of health conditions, and not to mention myself, who is very limited, full of disease, and due to my car accident and stuff like that. So now here, my husband and I are helping my father through his, to help him get better from his hospitalization and surgery and stuff like that. So he's going through some things where he feels that certain things might work out. And I'm not really going to use examples, and maybe, well, I had broken my tailbone. I think before I had actually, it's been a long time now, about 8 years ago or something like that, I fell down the stairs, maybe, I don't know, I fell down the stairs and broke my tailbone. And so, of course, sitting on my bottom for long periods of time, or at all, was very excruciating. So I tried, the donut pillows and things like that, and they didn't work. It didn't work. It just didn't work anyway, and it caused more issues down below, more sensitivities down below. So what did I have to do? Of course, I wanted to sit up. You have to sit up to eat, things like that. But for the most part, when I wasn't active, and I was still exercising anyway, as best as I possibly could with that injury, and but for the most part, I had to lay down to give my bottom some time to heal. But I also know that my bottom being broken was the repairing, or the opening of, or the awareness of the Kundalini energy. So that's my little secret there. And so, we're at this point here with my father-in-law, who has some bottom issues from being in the hospital, some tears and from bed sores and things like that, and just losing lots of weight. So I had bought a coccyx pillow, which is, for the desk type or the chair. I don't know what it's called. It's just a coccyx pillow, a regular pillow instead of a donut hole, but it has a cutout for your coccyx area, which worked a lot better than the actual donut, because the donut is like if you're constantly sitting on the toilet seat, that is, it spreads everything and just tears everything. And please excuse me if this is something you don't really care to hear about. I'm just trying to give you guys information here that might not be very appealing, but and so what I'm trying to say, I went through an experience, And when we go through an experience, we are able to teach somebody by that experience. But even though I went through an experience and I have that type of knowledge, I have lots of knowledge from being immobile to going to becoming fit, from being full of disease to becoming healthy. I have lots and lots of knowledge, not from everyday ordinary 3D living. I have lots of knowledge from mistakes, and because I was willing to learn and try, trial and error. But again, it goes back to, if that person is not willing to understand by your experience, there's no point. You're just putting out garbage, because that's all they're hearing is garbage. And it's the ego of every single person, whether or not if I were to continuously, this, and this, you have to watch yourself. Your ego can make you think, oh, well, you know everything, so here, let's go ahead and feed people this, and this. You can give your knowledge. If it doesn't seem like it's being receptive or received, just quit. You just have to stop. You have to learn to stop. And why are you stopping, really? Oh gosh, this person is an idiot. Whatever. Don't, watch how you're thinking about the other individual as well. But if you're coming from love, you're like, okay, well, this person doesn't really understand because this person hasn't had the experience. So, ordinarily in this type of situation, what my knowledge has done, especially through my own injuries, but especially through caring for Barb, prior to her passing, of course, I didn't need to say that. I alternated her position to make sure that she was always comfortable and not, getting bed sores. And if she was, getting bed sores, taking care of that situation. So alternating positions and staying off of where the sore is really at is the best advice that I can give. Even still, it takes somebody who is still awake, still able to care for themselves, still able to walk and function. They have to be able to receive it. There's nothing I can do or say to convince another individual of the value of something. Trial and error. And if they want to try things over and over again, or whatever it is, that's their life. They have to figure it out for themselves. So, long story short, I am learning today still, because I am not done, although I have received the message that I am nearly done. The job is never done until the job is actually done. And even if it is done, or you have been confirmed, or there is a confirmation of completion, I hope to be the individual that still says I'm not done, because I still want to learn every single day about something. I still want to, because I understand that love is never ending. Love is endless, which means you will always evolve into more love. The more love that you have in your heart, the more you are able to grow in love. And the more faith you have, the more that faith is going to grow. But when you top yourself off at, okay, I have done this, I am at this graduating period, there's nothing left for me, then you're stopping your own expansion, your own consciousness. So I hope I will never be that person that says I am done. So I also want to add, before I actually continue on with the rest of this video, or the purpose of this video, is that I am also the type of person who, I don't have the need to be right through my own knowledge. I just hope that it's received, or appreciated, that is. I hope it is appreciated, but even still, in the lacking of appreciation, I know that I am doing my best. So it's not that I even need someone to say, I appreciate what you're doing, or your advice was really, really great, and I understand it, and I am grateful for it. I don't really need that, because I know that the place of my heart comes from a good place. I still make my mistakes, and just like with this experience, tiny experience that I'm talking about today, is I can only do so much, and I have to allow somebody else to make their own mistakes. I can't give them my advice unless they're open to advice. I can't care for someone to the full extent unless they want that type of care. And you have to allow people to make their own mistakes. Because that's life, isn't it? It's allowing ourselves, each individual person, to live their life. And that's especially true when we are trying to teach people about our ascension process. You have to allow people to have their own experiences. And you can't tell them that their experience is wrong, because we each have our own mind. We each have our own heart, and we each are having our own experiences. And it's completely different. It's going to be completely different in how we receive it. Understand it and receive it. So let's go back to what I said, that I used to read a lot about consciousness and about the levels and things like that. But my mind would take in way too much information, and then my mind would become so confused about that information. So I would just stop. I stopped reading about it because it wasn't doing me any good to take in information and not understand it. And then I was overwhelming myself and becoming more anxious, and so I stopped. Yet, I expressed to you guys that I am not done. I know I'm not done. I don't know my higher self yet. I don't know the true connection yet. I don't know. But I know I'm centered in love. I know I get centered in love, and I learn my lessons quickly. I really do. Quicker, especially than what I used to in my past, especially. So, I know that I haven't been to certain levels, and because, again, my heart is true. My heart is very true. I know I haven't gotten there. I'm like, I don't feel, although I'm being guided, that I'm nearly done, but something hasn't been completed yet. We have to have a completion to be complete. And yet, in being complete, you're still wanting to do what's right and expand. I have spoken about the mind must know, because the heart will know. You will know who your higher self is, or your source connection, by how the mind and the heart must have an awareness of itself. So that didn't happen for me, and I had an experience yesterday. I nearly crashed for most of the day, and I kind of knew that this was going to take place sometime. Not just because of the complete exhaustion that I went through with my mother-in-law, especially the last 2 weeks of her life there, but just because of everything. Lack of sleep has gone on for a long time, and I know you guys go through those phases a lot. Waking up at 3, 3:30, 1, 2, whatever it is, and then not being able to go back to sleep. We grow a lot at night, and I think for myself, my heart feels that I chose to be more aware, more conscious at nighttime, even though we are still growing and learning throughout the daytime, through our experiences. But we go through more of that spiritual expansion, if that makes sense to you guys. Through the nighttime. And I want to be able to experience that. Because when we really are involved we can find more gratefulness. That's my perspective on it. So the lack of sleep, however lengthy it is, it takes up lots of time. It makes you completely exhausted. Your mind can't think and process things. Your body can't catch up to all the exhaustion. There's everything goes into play. Your body just goes through so much. You aren't sleeping very well. That is, our body can actually, we have the ability to function in just a few hours of sleep, but it must be successful sleep, uninterrupted, and where everything can just rest. So don't get tied up in the amount of time that you need, that we have been taught that you need at least 6 to 8 hours to function in life. We really don't, because we are substantial beings who are able to accomplish, everything. So don't limit yourself in your ability. So I have had great appreciation of lots that take place so I had my experience yesterday. And, it's like I remember lots of things that have taken place through my experience. And one experience was when I was traveling through the actual eye of God, through the universe. And I will never forget that experience. Well, I hope not. Because we have so many grateful moments or beautiful moments. So who knows? I might one day. So yesterday was a major experience for myself. And I ended up seeing, and I'm going to try and find an image of it. It was the expansion of myself, the expansion of my soul, the development and expansion of the soul being given. And so the heart must first become the soul, and then the mind is going to observe. You must witness, and I hope I am saying this correctly, you must witness your own creation, not just here in your physical reality, by letting go, healing yourself, and having these experiences that are teaching you to grow and become who you truly are through greatness, okay? But you also must witness it internally. What is the energy doing from within yourself? How is it really mixing from within yourself? And then what is it becoming? We have to truly become our higher self. Our spirit has to be developed. Our soul has to be developed. It has to become and be embedded within us, because it has been lacking forever. We have been walking around pretty much soulless because we are living through ego. Even though, we tend to believe that we are great people, we are still great people with lots of ego, because there's lots of pain, lots of limitations, lots of terrible experiences we haven't healed from, and etc. And we want to be acknowledged, we want to be accepted, we want love, we want money, we want so much. And when we shed the ego, and it's only when the ego dies that the soul is known. But this doesn't mean that I know yet. It doesn't. I just had the experience. Now that experience is going to teach me more. You're going to get to levels, and then those levels are going to teach you. And you have to understand those levels. Otherwise, you're not going to get to the next level or go to the next grade. You're not going to graduate. You can't become something if you aren't understanding where you currently are at or where you have been. And so I just wanted to make this video, of course, about my experience recently. And I know, it may seem so my experiences may seem so small or insignificant, but every experience matters. Everything you do about when you go throughout your day matters. If you get mad at the traffic, that's your experience, and you're supposed to learn something from it. If you get mad because there's trash on the floor or whatever it is, and no one else has picked it up, that's an experience for you to learn and expand on. It begins with all of these tiny things that really, really build up and build up. But it also includes all of those ginormous things in life. You know, going through witnessing someone's death is an experience that really burdens other people, or people in general, loved ones, family. It really, really boggles them down and is a life lesson. Experiencing poverty is a major life lesson. Experiencing a divorce or separation is a major life lesson. But driving to the grocery store and having a bad experience because someone cut you off or sped up on the rear of you, trying to make you speed up, all of those little things are experiences that teach us about who we are. Everything matters. Everything counts. Cause and effect. And you have to witness everything in your every single day life. But also, what is it all you're doing from within you? The development of the soul. It's going to be so beautiful to see. So beautiful to see from within. It begins as something so small, and it's going to grow and grow and grow. It was a beautiful experience that I had, and I'm sure I'm still going to have to see more of it. It was just the beginning part of it, that development, and I am looking forward to, of course, life teaching me more about these lessons that I must learn to truly become. This is Christy. Much love, health, and healing your way. I am bringing purpose to your life. Take care.